Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. My name is Hannah Namatovu Mukisa and I welcome you back to this channel. Today we are talking about nutrition in liver health. Yes, this is a Koya nutrition company and I am the lead nutritionist, and I come to you with these tips. We are still doing the commonest conditions among the people who we come into contact with. Yes, so this is important such that when people are going through liver disease or are trying to prevent liver disease, what should they eat? Yes, so first and foremost, what's the liver? The liver is that organ that regulates metabolism. It is a very large organ, and when you talk about metabolism, we are talking about the breakdown of carbohydrates, proteins, fat, even vitamins and minerals, breaking them down and utilizing them to provide energy. Yes, so when you eat your food, it is digested in the gut, in the small intestines. It is absorbed into the blood and it is distributed to the body tissues such as the organs, the muscles and everything else, every body part, yeah, to produce energy that you can use. For example, if you're to lift anything, your muscles contract and relax and you need energy for that. So the food that you eat is what is broken down and utilized to provide for you that energy. Yes, so the liver regulates those processes, and without the liver those processes will not be taking place and you will die. The liver is one organ that you cannot live without. Yes, so the functions of the liver, we are only going to talk about a few, and they include storage and activation of minerals. We talked about, first of all, metabolism of all the minerals that you consume, but the liver also stores the vitamins and the minerals, and it activates them when they are needed to be utilized. Yes, the liver also metabolizes the steroid hormones. So when your body releases these hormones that are used, for example, in the reproductive system or even in any other system, yes, in the body, so those hormones are regulated and broken down at the end of their use. They are no longer used, they're no longer useful in the body and they have to get out. It's the liver that is responsible for breaking them down, and without the liver functioning properly, they will remain in the body and they will become toxic. They will become toxic for you. Yes, so the liver is also responsible for detoxification of substances. For example, if you consume alcohol, if you consume drugs, yeah, and other things, even foodstuffs that are toxic or unhealthy, the liver is responsible for detoxifying your body. It is responsible for removing those toxins. So without the liver, these toxins will accumulate and they will kill you. Yes, so it also acts as a filter and a blood chamber. It filters the blood. Yes, also there are what we call blood clotting factors. These are produced in the liver, such as what we call fibrinogen, what we call prothrombin. We shall not go into those details, but they are responsible, they are important for your blood to clot. When you get maybe a wound and you're bleeding, your blood needs to clot. So without these blood clotting factors that are produced by the liver, your blood will not be able to clot to stop bleeding. That is why we see some cases of people bleeding out. Yeah, so fast forward, we are not going to dwell so much, but the liver also has so many other processes. Yes, so how do they assess liver function tests? When you go to the hospital, probably for a liver for a full body assessment, you will see on the list that there are certain things that are called bilirubin serum levels. These ones are used to assess liver function. So they will be assessing for certain things such as serum bilirubin. They are looking for the total serum in the blood, rather total bilirubin in the blood. Yeah, so this just shows that your liver is functioning properly. Yes, so a certain amount indicates a certain thing, so we shall leave that to the health workers. Yes, so what are those liver diseases? I'm going to only talk about a few, the commonest ones. First, there is viral hepatitis. This is hepatitis that is caused by a virus. Hepatitis refers to injury to the liver cells or damage that has been done to the liver cells. So this damage can be by anything, but in the case of viral hepatitis, this damage has been caused by a virus. Yes, so I'm sure you have heard of hepatitis A, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, hepatitis D, and hepatitis E. Yes, so these are different viruses that cause all of these hepatitis. So for hepatitis A and E, they are spread through the what we call the orophycal route. The orophycal route is feces, oral, mouth. For example, the water that is contaminated with feces, or the food that is contaminated with feces at any one point in time, should it be consumed, the consumers can be exposed to consuming these viruses. They can be exposed to these viruses. For hepatitis B, C, and D, these are transmitted through bodily fluids. If you come into contact with a person who is infected, you come into contact with their bodily fluids, with their blood, their sweat, their saliva, any other bodily fluid. You can expose yourself to contracting these viruses. Yes. So certain types of hepatitis do not recover completely. For hepatitis A and B, there is complete recovery. There are chances of complete recovery. But for hepatitis C, there are only 20 to 50% chances of recovery. The others do not have, and there are antiretroviral drugs. There are drugs to treat hepatitis B and C, and there are vaccines to treat hepatitis A, to immunize against hepatitis A and hepatitis B. But for the others, there are none. So it is very, very important that you be vigilant for you and your loved ones to protect yourselves against contracting these diseases, because they really affect the cells of the liver, and when they cause damage to these cells, sometimes they can accumulate this scar tissue and they become non-functional, which is what we call liver cirrhosis, death of the liver cells. Yes, so the liver is no longer functioning. Those liver cells, that part of the liver is no longer functioning. And if it increases and it takes up the whole liver, the liver stops to function and the person dies. Yes. So the other liver disease that we are going to talk about is what we call non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So in this case, there is no alcohol, but this person is suffering from fatty liver disease. In this situation, the liver cells have accumulated fat droplets. Yes, the liver cells have accumulated fat droplets, and these droplets have occupied the whole space of the liver cell, and the liver cell cannot function. It cannot carry out the role it is supposed to carry out, because it is packed with fat, the fat droplet. Yes, because the liver is responsible for metabolism of fat. In cases of excess fat, this can cause non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Yes, so people who are predisposed to this condition are people who are obese, people who have certain disorders, people who suffer from diabetes, even metabolism errors. Those are some of the things that can cause non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Even some drugs can predispose an individual to contracting non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Yes, so this condition is made worse by diabetes and obesity. Should a person be found with this condition and they add on contracting diabetes or obesity, not contracting, developing, excuse my English, they can develop fatty liver disease. Yes, so weight loss can greatly benefit individuals with such a predicament, which is why we highly recommend a fat restricted diet. what we call a fat restricted diet is a diet where there is very little fat consumed, up to a maximum of 40 grams per day. Yes, because you cannot live without fat. Fat is important for the absorption of certain essential minerals. There are some vitamins that cannot be absorbed into your bloodstream without fat. For example, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K, and these are very essential for certain bodily functions such as eyesight. Vitamin A, vitamin K is essential for blood clotting. Vitamin E is an antioxidant, very essential for day-to-day life, day-to-day functioning of the body organs. And without fat, this cannot be absorbed from the diet. Yes, whenever they are consumed without fat, they just go out, they just get excreted. So fat is essential, you cannot do without it, but we limit it to a maximum of 40 grams per day. Yes, so we recommend a fat restricted diet for people who are suffering from any kind of liver disease, because we are trying to prevent fatty liver disease, because there is a predisposition. Yes, the other disease is what we call non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Steatohepatitis, like I said, hepatitis is inflammation or damage. Inflammation is usually damage or injury to the liver cells. So in non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, there is no alcohol cause, but there is damage. Yeah, so this can be caused by probably oxidation processes, which I will not go into at this time. Yes, but there is fibrous tissue being, sometimes there is, sometimes there is not. So with or without fibrous tissue is that scar tissue that I had talked about, that can be accumulated into these cells when they get damaged, and in the process of recovery they form these scars because of this fibrous tissue that has been taken up by the cells. Yes, so with or without, it is still hepatitis. So in cases, so we do not know what causes, but most of the time the cause can be those oxidation reactions, yeah, those volatile organic compounds that can react with the compounds on the cell membranes. I know this is a bit complex, yeah, but it can cause damage to the cells, and it causes inflammation or what seems to be like a wound. Yes, so to prevent that, we recommend diets that are rich in antioxidants to prevent or to reverse or to treat, to manage. Yes, we recommend diets rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Yes, diets rich in vitamin E, about 800 IUs per day. Yes, or what we call alpha tocopherol. Yes, and in such cases, both for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and this one, we find that research has shown that moderate amounts of coffee without sugar, unsweetened coffee, can be protective. So when you go to a nutritionist, you'll find that they have recommended for you particular things that you should consume. Yeah, maybe you should take it up by yourself, to take the initiative to ask why this. Yeah, so moderate amounts of unsweetened coffee is they are protective. They will protect. Yeah, omega-3 fatty acids, because of that antioxidant and protective component. Vitamin E also antioxidant. It reverses the other reaction that causes damage to the liver cells. Yes, so we are going to go on to alcoholic liver disease. Now, we all know that this is liver disease caused by alcohol, and I'm sure we have heard it, that when you consume a lot of alcohol, you are putting your liver in danger. Yes, so people who consume large amounts of alcohol, they stand chances, yeah, because when alcohol is being metabolized, broken down, and utilized to produce energy in the liver, there is a component that is produced. It is called acetaldehyde. Now this component provides what we call a hydrogen atom, which replaces fat as an energy source. So hydrogen is used instead of fat being burnt to provide energy. Excuse me. This hydrogen is being used to provide energy. Yeah. So it predisposes one to remaining with excess amounts of fat and excess amounts of fat, and as a result, we go back to what we call a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, where the cells are non-functional because they have absorbed a lot of the fat droplets, or the acetaldehyde itself is toxic. It can cause damage to the liver cells itself, causing liver cirrhosis because the cells have accumulated the scar tissue, yes, and they become non-functional, yeah, which causes what we call liver cirrhosis or liver death. Yes, there is something called ascites, which is accumulation, build up something, yes, of water or fluids in the abdomen. Yeah, excess fluid in the abdomen. It is caused due to liver cirrhosis because the liver is supposed to regulate fluid retention in the body. So because the liver is no longer working, we see people when they have big swollen stomachs, they tell them you have a liver problem. Yeah, and that is how it comes about. Yeah. So like I was saying, because we say that the liver is what metabolizes everything that you eat. When you consume the food, for example, the carbohydrates, they are taken up in the body. Let us just talk about the carbohydrates. They are taken up in the body, they are broken down, first of all in the stomach, then in the small intestines, then they get absorbed into the bloodstream. The blood has carried them to the different body parts, to the heart, to the lungs, to the muscles. Now they're being used to produce energy, but there is excess. You ate more. When you felt that sensation of I am satisfied, you did not stop eating, so now you have excess carbohydrates or glucose, because the end product when carbohydrates are broken down is glucose. So now you have a lot of glucose. It is converted into glycogen and it is stored in the liver. So glycogen is readily accessible because there is only one step. When we are converting, we are not going back to carbohydrates to convert through very many steps to glucose. Glycogen is only one step converted to glucose, so it is readily available. Yeah, so this glycogen will be released when glucose is needed. For example, if you start running and we need glucose very quickly to produce energy for you to be able to run very fast, to be sustained in the running, this glycogen is broken down into glucose and it is released to produce energy. Yes, so in it, when there is even more excess than is converted to glycogen, that is what is converted into fat and is stored. So you see how important the liver is. Yes, anyway, back to what we're talking about. So what are the sources of omega-3? We're talking about ascites. Here we recommend that we limit sodium intake to 2 grams per day. Sodium is salt, basically. Our biggest source, our largest main source of sodium is salt. That's salt that we put in food. Yes. I also talked about a fat restricted diet where we recommend a maximum of 40 grams of fat per day. Yes. So omega-3, because of the antioxidant properties, and the sources are oily fish, in other words, Nile perch, imputa, salmon, sardines, those bazungo fish types. Yes, there are also nuts and seeds, I know you know those ones. Then avocado, green leafy vegetables, plant oils such as sunflower oil. Also, vitamin E, the sources are vegetables such as avocado, more or less the same, nuts, almonds, peanuts, sunflower seeds. Yeah, so more or less the same. A fat restricted diet, we are going to be talking about, for example, beverages. If we recommend coffee unsweetened, yeah, because the sugar will be converted into a fat in times of excess, in instances of excess. Yes, fruit juice, soft drinks. Should, if you are to take milk, let it be skimmed milk. Yes, that milk with no fat or very low fat. Yes, please do not take chocolate milk. Do not take whole milk. Yeah. If you're to eat bread, let it be whole grain bread. If you eat to eat rice, let it be whole grain rice. Do not eat biscuits. Do not eat things like pancakes, donuts, cheese bread, yeah, waffles, those things. Yeah, let us just leave them. Yeah. You can also eat cereal, whole grain cereal. Yeah. If you're to eat cheese, let it be fat-free cheese. If you're to eat pizza, make sure this pizza is prepared with fat-free cheese or low-fat cheese. Yeah. Dessert, if you're to consume yogurt, let it be non-fat yogurt. Yeah, or fruit yogurt, low-fat fruit yogurt. If you're to eat eggs, they should be prepared with non-fat oil. Yeah, and they should not you should remove the egg yolk. Yes. If you're to consume the vegetables that you recommend that you consume, they should be plainly prepared. Please do not deep fry vegetables. Do not fry vegetables. Do not serve vegetables with mayonnaise or any other fat sauce. Yes, fruits, you can consume those ones as desired. Yes. You can consume jam, jelly, syrup, those ones you can consume. Do not consume chocolate, butter, cream, those things. Yes, things like ice cream, chocolate pie, cake, because cake is prepared using milk, and it is not low fat milk. It's prepared using blue band, and that is fat itself. It's prepared using eggs, yeah, and those are all sources of fat. Yes, if you're to eat avocado or avocado, let it be small. Let it be small, like quarter. Actually, quarter, half of a quarter, an eighth, half of a quarter. When you cut the avo into four, you should pick one wedge and you cut it into two. Now that one, one half of that quarter is what you should eat. Yes. Now, when it comes to cooking, the fat that you are using, yeah, it should be 1 teaspoon, yeah, teaspoon per day. 1 teaspoon of probably butter, margarine, mayonnaise, one of them, not all of them. And if you do that, do not do any other fat. If you do probably light cream when you're dressing maybe your vegetables, you are allowed 1 tablespoon of probably mayonnaise that you're using to dress your vegetables. When you chop your cabbages and you put them in addition, you need like some maybe something to use for dressing. You can use 1 tablespoon of reduced fat dressing or light cream, not too heavy. Or you can do that avocado slice that I talked about, yeah, 4-inch diameter. Yeah. When it comes to meat, we are consuming lean meat without fat. Lean meat, what we call lean meat where the fat has been removed, or fish, yeah, or poultry. When we talk about poultry, we're talking about chicken, we're talking about turkey, we're talking about quail, but the skin should be removed. Yes. Please, Avoid fried or fatty meats. Avoid thick gravies. Avoid things like pork ribs, yeah. Avoid those fat things, pig's feet, duck, yeah, all those fatty things. If you are going to consume milk, yeah, or yogurt, let it be skimmed milk. And yogurt should be yogurt made from skimmed milk, yeah. For the seasonings, you can consume as desired because those ones do not contain any fat, yeah. Thank you so much for listening. This was a pleasure talking to you today. Until next time, stay blessed.